Hey, 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 it's Rebecca, and you are listening to Resilient by Design. Today, I wanted to hop on here as we're nearing the end of the year to talk a little bit about goal setting. I always do an episode at the end of the year, which is my year in review and how I assess the year to plan for the future. I'm going to do that episode separately. But today, I just want to talk about goal setting because it's such a big part of planning ahead that I never end up having a chance to really dive into it in too much detail in those episodes because it just feels like it's so much information and then it's going to be like a 2-hour long episode. So today I want to talk about the one thing. And I've recently been reading the book called The One Thing. And let me figure out who's the author. Gary Keller is the author, I believe, with J. Papasan. Anyhow, it's a really great book. I highly recommend it. It's a #1 seller and I'm listening to it on Audible right now, but it talks about goal setting. So many of these books that we get talk about goal setting. But it's always like with a slightly different lens or like a slightly different perspective. And a lot of when you read books like this or you listen to a podcast, it's not even the new information. It's not like, oh, wow, I've never heard that before. That's not usually what moves the needle. Those are the moments where you're like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. But it's when you've heard something multiple times that then it starts to resonate. Then you really start to absorb that information and it becomes part of your knowledge. So today I'm going to walk you through some of the things that have popped up when it comes to goal setting that have been a really great reminder. And hopefully this helps you guys planning into your 2022. So here we go.
All right. I'm Rebecca Hay, and I've built a successful interior design business by trial and error, podcasts, online courses, and so many freaking books. Over the last decade, I've grown from an insecure student to having false starts to careers, and now I'm finally in the place where I want to be. Throughout my journey, it's been pretty obvious that I'm passionate about business and helping other entrepreneurs do the same. Each week, I'll share tangible takeaways from my own experience and the experiences of other badass women to help you build your confidence and change your business.
Are you looking to expand your network, gain momentum in your business, and be around your tribe of designers or decorators or architects? If you answered yes, then go check out the Collective Workspace. They offer a range of private office suites, flex workspaces, boardroom rentals, and many more perks, along with a trade-only design resource library. Oh, and did I mention a boutique gym? Their flagship space is located in the heart of Toronto. I am here right now in the Design District with a second location opening up this fall in Mississauga. Go check them out at thecollectiveto.com or go on Instagram at The Collective Workspace, your tour, or take advantage of their free 3-day pass. Here's the thing about setting goals. If you don't write them down, it's not good enough. Let me explain. It's good to have a vision in your head, and it is certainly good to have a goal that maybe you say out loud. But the sheer act of taking pen to paper or pencil or potentially typing in a computer, I don't know if the research goes into that much detail, but I think that's probably helpful too. But putting it down on paper, committing those ideas and that vision in your head and setting those goals and writing them down, there's something that is scientifically proven, and I don't know the science, I'm just going to tell you that's what lots of people say, and I believe them. And there's lots of research, you can Google it, but it's scientifically proven that when you write something down, whether it's a goal or anything, like if you're studying for a test or what have you, you are more likely to retain that information. You are more likely to achieve that goal. And in this book that I've been listening to, The One Thing, he actually uses a statistic from a study that says those who write down goals are 39.5% more likely to accomplish them. They're 39.5% more likely to actually do the thing and get the thing. I think that's pretty incredible. And it's not like writing goals down is actually that hard. Like all you have to do is block off some time to sit down and dedicate the time to just indulge yourself a little, dream, think, plan, and write it down. Now, just because it's easy doesn't mean everyone's doing it, right? If it were that easy, then everybody would do it and everybody would achieve their goals, right? So what's the deal? Why are people not getting their goals, right? Just because maybe you wrote down as a kid, I want to be, I don't know, an interior designer, right? And maybe you're still not there. Or that's a really bad example because I've got designers listening. I don't know. Maybe you have a goal like I want to travel to South Africa, for example. And you wrote it down and it's something that you've known you've always wanted to do, but you're not actively pursuing it, right? You figure that at one point in the future it'll happen, and it quite likely will happen. But what if there was a way to actively pursue a goal to ensure that it comes true? Here's the thing. It exists. It's also called writing it down. But I'm going to walk you through now. These are the steps. This is how a lot of goal setting teachers will teach you very similar concepts. And the idea is that by setting a goal, first you want to have a vision. And we really dove really deep into this in my momentum marketing course. But you want to have a vision for your life, like a 10-year picture. Where do you see yourself? And I think I've done a live visualization of that here on the podcast. I will have Vera put into the show notes which episodes I'm referencing because I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not that organized. I didn't plan ahead. I just started talking. But when you have a vision and you write it down, you start to get a sense of if you're heading in the right direction. And whatever it is that you want to do with your life or in the next year or in the next 6 months, whatever it is, you want it, you desire it, I fully support you. That is your dream and your goal. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise, that you can't do it, you can't accomplish it, and that you shouldn't dream it. And if the people in your life are telling you that, then either you stop telling them your dreams and goals, right? You keep them close to your heart, or you get new friends. So take a sip of my tea. You set a goal. You have a goal, let's say, that in 2022, you want your business to make $800,000 in revenue. Okay? That is a goal. Then what you need to do is figure out how you are going to get there. What I want to talk about before we dive into the actual tangible steps of how to do that, I want to talk about the idea that we have so many dreams and we have so many goals. And there's probably a lot of things you want to accomplish in a year. And the reason I want to talk about this is because it's definitely something that I've struggled with. I have struggled with wanting to do all the things. Shocker. I have a podcast. I have a design business. I have an online course business. I don't know, what else do I do? I feel like I do other things. I'm a mother, right? I'm building a farmhouse and I'm starting a business of short-term rentals. I've renovated my house. Like, there's so much that I do, and I'm learning I need to pull back a little bit and just focus in on a few and really focus in on one goal at a time. I think it was Sheryl Sandberg who said in her book, Lean In, you can have it all. You just can't have it all at the same time. So what that means is if you want to be the dream, what's her name? Judy Cleaver? Mom, the perfect Martha Stewart mom, but you also want to be the kick-ass businesswoman, and you want to have $2 million in revenue, and it's not realistic that you are going to be top of your game in all those areas at the exact same time. Maybe you focus on one and then the other, and then it starts to build. So you start working on becoming a really great mom, and you focus and you're intentional about your parenting skills, and you're listening and being present and showing up. and the time that you spend with them, you're very present and all that jazz. And then once you feel like, okay, like I am really mastering this, then let's focus on the revenue goals of the business. I'm not saying stop working on your business, but if you're going to focus on a goal, I want you to focus on it and go whole hog. Like go all in on that one thing and plan it out. And then once you get into a rhythm and you are on track and you're checking off your mile markers, then you can layer in the next goal. And this is something that we talked about in Momentum. I talk about in Power of Process. I feel like I'm a bit of a broken record when it comes to goal setting and visualizing because I really feel that it is so powerful. It's been an extremely powerful tool for me, envisioning my life and my business. And it also just gives me that confidence and the drive to continue moving forward because I firmly believe that if you can dream it, you can achieve it. It's one of the quotes I share in my courses. I really believe it. I talk about it on the podcast all the time. If you believe it or if you dream it, you can achieve it. So with that said, if you're looking into 2022 and you're setting one goal for your business, I'm sure there'll be lots of other little goals, but we're going to focus on one right now. And that is you are desperate to get $800,000 in revenue. That is what you want. Top line revenue before cost of goods, before your expenses, you want $800,000. And I picked that number for a reason because it's easy for me to break it down into the mile markers, but just use this as an example. And if you are a Momentum member, then this example is extremely familiar to you because I use it in the course. So you set your goal for $800,000 and you want to achieve that the last quarter of the year. You know, you want it to accumulate so that by the end of 2022, December, you have that $800,000 in total sales. So now I want you to break it down into quarters. I love to do things by quarters. I think it's what people do in the business world. It just makes sense. It's a reasonable, 3 months is enough time to actually move the needle and hit small goals. So I see it as stepping stones, like stairs, really. At the top of the stairs, there's 4 stairs. The 4th stair, these are big stairs, okay? These are like big stairs, giant stairs. The top of the 4th stair is that goal. That is your milestone, $800,000. That is it. That is the dream end goal for 2022. Let's take it back. What do you need to do to get you to $800,000? Okay, let's make a list. Well, I probably need to get some projects. Okay, I need some projects. They need to be probably high value projects because I can't take on, more than a certain number of projects a year given the team that I have. Okay, I need to have the right marketing to reach out and meet those clients that are going to pay me that money where they're at. I need to, maybe I need to update my website, right? Maybe the website is not reflective of the brand that I'm really trying to put out into the world. Maybe our process set up. I don't know. Think about all the things. Maybe you need to hire a purchaser because there's so much purchasing that is involved with having that kind of volume of sales. Somebody who is right on top of it and can help you manage all the projects. Okay, all the things. So you've got a list, you write a list of all the different ideas, what are the things that you can do to help get you closer to that goal? And I'm just trying to open up my computer here because I've got a little graph in front of me that I'm going to share with you. I mean, you can't see it, but you know what I mean. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay. So I want you to look at the list of things that you can do to get you there. And I want you to pick one milestone for each quarter, meaning January, February, March. So by the end of March, you will have achieved goal A. Then there's April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. December is your big goal. You don't need to write that. You've just written that down, right? So the first mile marker is your first quarter. What is the goal that is going to move you close to the end goal that you can do within the first quarter? And write it down. So for example, you could say, update my website copy to reflect the process that we run when we do construction. Right? You could say that. Because let's be honest, that might take you a good, 3 months at least probably to do. Then the next step, I want you to look at, okay, what's the next thing we can do? So once I get the website set up with a section about our process with new builds, then what? Or new builds or construction, let's say. Send a newsletter announcing our new build design program, or send a newsletter to announcing our new process, or whatever it was that was that first goal, to our email list, right? So we set up our new system that's marketable. Our website's looking good. It's branded. So by the end of Q2, which is January, February, March, April, May, June, by the end of June, we're going to announce to everybody that we have it. And then Q3 could be, secure, 3 clients, for example. So those are just some examples. Let's take my example of an $800,000 a year goal. The strategy to get to that goal would be break $800,000 down into 4 parts and you'll get $200,000. So imagine you have $200,000 per project. You only need 4 projects in that entire year to achieve that goal. Have you ever done this before? This is something that's so simple that the first time I did it, I was like, why haven't I done this before? This is so powerful. This is so straightforward. This is something I do every year. If I have a revenue goal, I look at, okay, if I want to do $1.5 million in sales, I need to break that down. What does that mean? How many projects do I need at what project value, right? Do I want to have 3 projects that are valued at $500,000 each? Well, that seems like a straightforward way to get there. But then my marketing and my messaging might be a little bit different if I'm going after $500,000 projects versus a $200,000 project, right? And I can't tell you how to break it down. It really comes down to you, the type of work you want to do and that you can do and are capable and have the team for, and how many projects you want. How many projects do you want a year? Think about it. This is something I never thought about before. I was just like, I'll just take on as much as I can. Obviously, this is amazing. Oh, great. So-and-so wants to hire me. Great. Okay. I feel like I'm so busy, but the work won't last forever, right? So keep taking it on, take it on, take it on. If I had only known that I could forecast and understand to get to my goal, I only needed, let's say, 6 projects at $100,000 value each, then I would be a lot more relaxed when I got to that 4th project and it was only June, right? And then, of course, you can bump your goal. You can set stretch goals and all that jazz. But set your goal, come up with the strategy. So how are you going to get there? And then set those individual mile markers per quarter. So another example could be, you want to work with a builder who does a community and you want to do a model home. So you want to do 1 model home in the year of 2022. You want to be hired to design and decorate a model home, okay, for like a big builder. How would you break that down? Well, what is the strategy to get there? Well, the strategy is you need to develop a system that will work for builders, and then you need to connect and secure a builder client. Okay. Each quarter, I keep wanting to say month, each quarter you need to come up with a mile marker or a milestone. So Q1 might look like update process with unique, builder-facing copy and upload to website. Q1. Q2 could be share new process for model homes with all past and present and potential clients via email newsletter, cold call emails, Instagram and social, what have you. Q2. Q3 goal might be secure 3 discovery calls with potential builder clients for model homes. So in that quarter, you are coming up with all kinds of tactics and actions that will help get you those discovery calls, right? It's all building blocks. And then the last quarter is when you convert those leads into the actual project. I hope these examples are helpful. I really don't want to oversimplify things. Obviously, it's more complicated than that. There's so many little actions that go into it, but I think often we get so caught up in the little actions that we forget the big picture. And what happens, especially with marketing, and I've got marketing on the brain right now because obviously it's coming to the end of the year and I'm looking at what do I really want to do next year? Where do I want to put fuel to the fire? Because really, like, we are in control. We can control what direction we take our life and our business. We choose every day with the small actions that we do where we want to be. And if we're not intentional and if we're not careful, we are just spinning our wheels or throwing out actions or marketing tactics just to see what sticks. We look at our neighbor, or not our neighbor. We look at our maybe your neighbor, but we look at, our colleagues, our competitors, people on Instagram, and we see them doing oh, look at them. They're doing these incredible reels with how to decorate a coffee table. Oh my gosh, I should be doing that. Looks so good. What a great idea. Without thinking, is a reel of you decorating a coffee table really going to help move the needle to get you closer to your goal? It might. Maybe that's what you want to do. You're really into decorating. You're really into styling. Awesome. Maybe you have products to sell. Awesome. But maybe you really want to get into new construction. And so there's a reel that you could do that would be way more relevant than copying the other designers' fun, fantastic, how to style your coffee table 5 ways, right? It's important that we take stock of where we want to go and we set goals and milestones to help us get there. I'm not saying you're going to achieve every milestone. And I'm not saying there won't be something else that'll come along the way that might deter you, or maybe your goal will change. And that is very common. But what I will say is that by at least setting it and writing something down, you are giving yourself a sense of purpose. And this is my big takeaway from this book that I'm reading, The One Thing, is they talk about how the most important priority is the one thing that you can do right now that can help you achieve what matters most to you. And that there can only be one, hence the title of the book, The One Thing. There can only be one thing. Otherwise, you are not going to get as far as you think you can. You want to set your future goal and then write down the steps that you need to accomplish that goal. Okay. I hope this is helpful. I mean, I hope it's helpful. Sometimes I feel like I just blabber on and then I lose my own train of thought. I'm like, oh my gosh, I must sound like a total crazy lunatic. All I do is talk about goal setting. I feel like a broken record. Honestly, I just think it's so powerful. I'm about to do this exercise myself. I really just enjoy sharing on this podcast. Besides interviewing incredible, inspirational guests, I just like to share what it is that I'm doing that's working, because I feel like it's probably going to help at least one other person out there. Vera and I are about to sit down in December to look at our year in review, and I'll do a separate podcast episode on that. But we are going to review what worked, what didn't, which projects lit us up, which projects were lucrative and made us money, our team structure, our financials, you name it, we will review it with the team. And then Vera and I are going to sit down and look at the year ahead. And especially when it comes to the podcast and the coaching side of the business, what is the goal? And I can tell you right now, I don't have the answer to that. It's something that it's going to take some time to think about. And I need to be still with my thoughts, driving in a car, taking a walk, for me to really take that quiet time to think about where I want to take this and where I want to take my design business. And And what is my one goal as me, Rebecca, the human? Because obviously you have business goals, you have a goal for your business, but you might also just have a goal for you in your life. And one of the things I do like, I'm getting kind of off topic here, I do like to pick a word of the year. So my word of the year for 2021, now looking back on it, we'll see, there's still another month to go, but was freedom. Because I wanted to have the freedom away from the day-to-day running of my business. I wanted to be free to choose my own path, free from doing only what the clients asked. I wanted to have control of my time more so than before. And I wanted to feel free to make all my own choices when it comes to business. This might sound silly to you, but this was my word for the year. I don't know that I fully achieved that sort of goal of sort of freedom, but I do think in so many aspects, I am getting there. I know that I'm definitely feeling freer from the burden of other people's opinions. That's something I've worked at. But all that to say that I want to try and set a goal going into 2022 of like, what is my one thing as a person? Like for me in life, what is my one thing? And I think it's going to be something along the lines of connecting people. I think I realized that I love to teach and connect. And that's just really what I'm very passionate about. Also be creative, but I need to come up with what that's going to be for next year so that everything I'm doing in all of the business endeavors I have, because I've got this farmhouse business coming down the pipeline. Oh my God, I'm crazy. I want to make sure that everything still aligns with that one personal goal that I have. And then with each business, I have to set a goal. If you have one business, great. It's so much more straightforward. You want to think about your goal for your life and for your year. And then what is your goal for your business for 2022? It's something, it's going to take some time to really figure out. That's why I wanted to do this goal setting podcast before the year in review, because I feel like this is how it goes in my mind. I like to lay foundations. It's like coaching and like teaching in my courses. I like creating the curriculum. It's always like, what do you want to do first to prepare you for the next thing? And then how does that prepare you for the thing after that? So for me, it's just talking and getting the conversation open and out there about goal setting and the power of it, as well as sort of the tactical, how do you literally sit down and write it down on paper? And I hope it was helpful how I described it. I'm not sure, it might have confused you more. But then once you have this idea that, okay, I'm going to need to set goals, then when you listen to my episode, which is the year in review, you'll look back at your year knowing that, okay, I'm going to need to be thinking about goals for next year. And then after the year in review podcast, I'll give you all the things. I think I'm going to put together a checklist too that you guys can download just so that you have it in front of you. It's a lot easier than having to sit down and like write all the notes from the podcast. So don't hold me to that, but that's a plan I have. And after the year in review, that's when you plan ahead for 2022 or plan ahead for the new year. And hopefully by then, now you've had time to kind of let these goals kind of stir around your head, kind of like mulled wine, and soon it'll be ready to drink. Ooh, I like mulled wine. All right. That's my intention for you. I'm trying to help. It's almost the end of the year. The world is kind of settling into a new rhythm. I think it's a really great time to be strategic and be intentional about what you want to get out of the year ahead. You want to set your future goal, and then you want to write down the steps and work through those steps. They're going to help you get there. It's a really powerful exercise. Even just writing down a bunch of ideas is a great first step. So good luck. Let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram. Maybe screenshot this episode, share it on social, join our Designer Meetup Facebook group if you're not already there. Share in that group. If you feel free to share your goal for 2022, I would love that. But even if not, and you just have thoughts or feedback on this episode, please feel free to share it. Good luck, and I will see you soon.